It's that time again. Welcome to Tesla Shorts Time, episode 556 for July 29th, 2026. I'm Patrick, coming to you from Vancouver. Here's what you need to know about Tesla today. Tesla's Cybercab now ships with a factory-integrated Starlink V5 terminal that enables 4,000 streaming and constant FSD updates during unsupervised rides. Tesla has integrated the Starlink V5 terminal directly into every Cybercab at the factory. The terminal sits hidden inside the body and appears only in computer-generated diagrams released so far. It supports speeds above 375 megabits per second and allows passengers to watch 4K streaming video while the vehicle operates without a driver. Elon Musk stated that the constant connection also delivers the latest full self-driving AI fixes to the fleet in real time. This marks the first high-volume Tesla model to ship with native SpaceX satellite hardware. Production at Giga Texas is already underway, though most early units remain in engineering testing. The same connectivity that keeps robotaxis online also underscores Tesla's growing need for massive, reliable power. Tesla's decision to embed Starlink V5 hardware in every Cybercab from the factory line changes the unit economics of robotaxi operations in a way that is easy to overlook. Instead of relying on ground-based cellular networks that can drop in rural corridors or during peak congestion, each vehicle carries a direct satellite link capable of sustained multi-hundred megabit throughput. That link keeps the car connected for software updates and ride-hailing dispatch, even when traditional coverage is absent, removing one variable that otherwise requires redundant systems or route restrictions. The same hardware also turns the robotaxi into a permanent, high-volume customer for SpaceX's satellite constellation. With production targets measured in millions of units, the arrangement creates a captive demand stream that is difficult for competitors to replicate without similar cross-company ownership. It compresses the cost of connectivity into the vehicle bill of materials, rather than leaving it as an ongoing operating expense that varies by region and carrier. Yet the approach carries its own constraint. Any latency or outage on the satellite side now affects the entire fleet rather than isolated vehicles. Tesla must therefore treat satellite performance as a core reliability specification alongside cameras, compute, and motors. Tesla has contracted for 90% of the output from a major Arizona solar plus storage project to power its growing AI compute needs. The company also signed a separate power purchase agreement with Contour Global for 1 terawatt-hour per year from Project Sterling. Both deals target clean power for AI compute clusters and manufacturing rather than residential use. The shift reflects rising electricity demand from training clusters and inference hardware. Construction and interconnection timelines were not detailed in the announcements. This connects directly to ongoing supply questions around the same AI push. Elon Musk highlighted Micron technology twice in the recent earnings call. He pointed to ongoing constraints in high-bandwidth memory needed for Tesla's AI training clusters. The comments underscore how memory supply has become a bottleneck alongside GPUs as Tesla scales Cortex and Dojo systems. Investors are watching whether the praise signals new supply agreements or simply acknowledges the tightness. No new agreements were announced during the call itself. Tesla is deploying distributed megapods as part of its broader AI compute scaling plan. The approach spreads hardware across multiple sites rather than concentrating everything in a single supercluster. This strategy is intended to improve resilience and speed up deployment of additional capacity for both training and inference workloads. The world's largest car carrier departed Shanghai loaded with enough Tesla vehicles to form a line more than 22 miles long if parked bumper to bumper. The shipment reflects continued high-volume exports from Giga Shanghai even as global demand patterns shift. Exact model mix was not disclosed, but the scale shows the plant's ongoing role in supplying multiple markets. Tesla has begun offering the Powerwall 3 residential battery system in Northern Ireland. The move expands the company's energy storage footprint in the UK and Ireland after earlier rollouts in Great Britain. Homeowners now gain access to the latest generation hardware paired with solar. Local installers are being onboarded to support the launch. Tesla has now delivered more than 16,000 electric vehicles in Malaysia. The company is adding new supercharger sites and emphasizing over-the-air capability as a core part of its local strategy. These moves come as Tesla works to deepen its presence in Southeast Asia beyond initial market entry. Tesla's summer update now allows drivers and passengers to join Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, and Discord calls using the cabin camera and microphones. The feature runs through the vehicle's existing connectivity and is positioned as an extension of the infotainment system. It arrives alongside other software changes in the same release cycle. Elon Musk has called Optimus potentially the largest product in Tesla's history. Current production data shows only limited prototype output at Giga Texas. The dedicated Optimus factory remains under construction, with volume production still targeted for 2027 and beyond. Observers are tracking whether early internal deployments will provide the first real volume signal. Tesla Japan has activated free supercharging for owners in areas impacted by the recent earthquake. The temporary measure applies at participating stations and is being communicated through local channels. It follows similar regional support actions the company has taken in past natural disasters. Speculation centers on Austin as the initial city for paid Cybercab rides before wider Texas and potential Florida expansion. The sequence would let Tesla test operations under relatively familiar regulatory conditions before moving to additional states. Observers note that starting in one metro area reduces early complexity for fleet management and charging logistics. Tesla posted about full self-driving as a tool that could improve transportation options for older adults who no longer drive themselves. The message frames the technology around safety and independence rather than performance metrics. It arrives as the company continues to push supervised FSD adoption across age groups. Charlotte is emerging as a potential test market where multiple companies could operate unsupervised robotaxis simultaneously. Local infrastructure and regulatory readiness will determine whether the city can manage overlapping fleets without conflicts. The outcome could preview how other mid-sized U.S. cities approach multi-operator robotaxi deployment. MSA Advisors LLC added 2,139 Tesla shares in the most recent filing period. The institutional buyer completed the purchase of 2,139 shares of Tesla Incorporated stock. The modest purchase reflects ongoing portfolio adjustments by smaller advisory firms following the post-earnings price movement. Such filings provide a window into how mid-sized managers are positioning after recent volatility. The transaction appears in the latest available regulatory disclosures. No larger position size or additional context on the firm's overall Tesla weighting was included in the filing. Owners on Reddit reported spotting early Cybercab units in Hayward, California, carrying visible testing rigs. The sightings occurred on public roads and showed equipment mounted on the vehicles. The observations suggest continued validation work outside Giga Texas as Tesla prepares for wider deployment. Such sightings often precede more formal announcements about testing corridors or regulatory filings. The units were described as carrying visible hardware not present on standard production examples. No official Tesla statement accompanied the reports from the Hayward area. A former Tesla manager has filed suit alleging that the company's Houston area robotaxi test fleet operated under unsafe conditions. The complaint claims testing practices exposed both employees and the public to unnecessary risk during development. Tesla has not yet issued a public response to the filing. The case will test how courts view internal safety disputes in autonomous vehicle programs. Before we go, keep an eye on whether new supply agreements surface after the Micron comments and how the Arizona power deals progress through interconnection. That covers it for today's Tesla developments. TSLA closed at $307.44, up 58 cents, 0.2%. Share this episode with a fellow Tesla enthusiast if you found it useful, and subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's episode. I'm Patrick in Vancouver. Thanks for being here. Quick tip from the network. Try the Do Positive Pod next. Good news in science and tech, plus one concrete action you can take. Every NARA Network show is free at naranetwork.com. And on the website, every episode's visuals live in our free image gallery at naranetwork.com/gallery. Royalty free under Creative Commons. Download with attribution. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.